Good evening. My name is Kwabena. Welcome to today. I want to share with you some steps to start your own business. Some steps to start your business. Every now and then we hear people or people ask us, they ask us, I have a daughter who has finished college. Can you help me to find a job for them? Every now and then you hear people ask you for, can I drop my CV with you? People are looking for places to work, and parents are offering some help, friends are offering some help. The people who are looking for the jobs themselves are offering, asking for help. It could be a bit more managed if there's a little understanding as to how people can go about, at least the time that they are waiting for another job or the time that they are looking for a job, if they know what to do to start a business. Some basic steps to start a business, because the fact is that not everybody will have a job the time that they want the job, especially in a developing or in an evolving economy. Those are the facts. Large-scale employment of the explosion of companies, of industries. For a fact, Africa is yet the revolution that creates industry. We are yet to go through on a very big scale. The idea of jobs, if that idea exists at all, is yet to go through the large-scale employment. And so, in as much as we are encouraging people to look for job, we should also encourage them to think about what they can do in the meantime if they so want job and they are not getting what they can do. Some of the steps that they can take to perchance start their, and who knows, maybe they will be able to build that business and employ another person. Forgo the whole idea of looking for a place to work, which can be that much daunting and frustrating if you're not getting it. The statistics don't tally. That's the fact. That the jobs out there, the so-called jobs out there, and the number of people who are looking for them, or the number of people who are trying to switch jobs, they may not so much tally. And so just as they have trained you to write CVs and look for jobs from one place to the other, I think that they should also tell you how you can also create, at least if it's not a company, at least how you can also create your own job, even if you employ just about valuable as any other idea. So some of the thoughts that I have that I think will help some people who are contemplating, and sometimes some people even have jobs and they're still contemplating of starting their own businesses. These are some of the things that can help you to think of it. Starting a business probably is a popular idea. It stays with a lot of people. I think that it's innate in people to wish to have control over their time and their freedom and their destiny. And I think starting a business has a little bit of that, has a little bit of giving you that leverage, even though it comes with its own inconveniences and what they call risk. So somewhere along the line, people think of starting their own businesses. People who are 20 years, 10 years, people who are 70 years, some people have gone on retirement and then they think of starting their own businesses. So people almost all the time are thinking of businesses. What can I start? A lot of people have no idea, play with it all the time when they want to think of starting their own businesses. So it's a popular idea. People want to start something along the line, even if it's just not the full time, even if it's not just something that they're so much passionate about. They will not throw out the idea that I have extra revenue, which they will call business actually, which I think it is. And it's a good thought to have that thinking. Today, somebody asked me, my son has finished school for 2 years, he's looking for a job, can you help him? The fact is that I could not tell him that let him look for doing something on his own. I could not say that because I didn't know how he would take it. He's a man, he's a father. He probably used all his money to, take care of the son. And the son has finished school for the last 2 years. He's after national service, still in the house looking for a job. What can you tell such a parent? What can you tell? But until we get organized, until we get highly organized economy, the idea of jobs is going to stay with us for a very long time. It's organized economies where every now and then where employment are being created, every now and then. Those are the ones who can have a lot of jobs to absorb the people looking for jobs. So until the economy is organized, this idea of unemployment, especially among the so-called graduates, with us, and is going to stay with us for a very long time. So I think that just as the jobs, we should also be looking at them, at having some basic understanding of how a business gets to start in this kind of economy. So these are the facts. Until you get the basis, until you get the economy organized, the people are going to always be looking for jobs. And so Africa is yet to go through the so-called industrial revolution. We are yet to go through that, and if it's industrial, there's not going to be a lot of jobs at the moment. There's not, because we are yet to go through the so-called industrial revolution, which means that the jobs are going to available. So the option we have is for people to learn how to be on their own and to create businesses themselves. So these are some of the things that I think you should look at if you are thinking of. And so these are some of the things that I think you should have to look at. You would have to starting your business. 3 things that I think are very much important. The first one is the technical expertise that you will need to start a business. And this technical expertise has got to do with the service or the product that you're going to deal in, your understanding of it. The second one is what I call the managerial skill or the leadership skill, to manage the resources, to manage yourself. It's a management, how you're going to manage your resources, your time, your money, the people. And the third one is the entrepreneurial skill. The entrepreneurial skill is what is the one that is creating the vision, that is seeing the profitability of the business, that is able to withstand the pressure that comes along in the journey, the understanding of the. So there are 3 things. Sorry about the network until it stabilized. Sorry. So I will tend to repeat some of them. That there are 3 important things that you would have to look at. The first one will be the technical expertise, the technical understanding that you are looking at starting. Which kind of business? Is it farming? Is it selling of a product? Is it manufacturing? What is it? Is it making of a bag? Is it making of electrical gadget? What is it that you can start from where you are? It calls for some bit of understanding of how that thing is created, and that is what I call the technical skill that you would have to have. And now I understand that most of us don't have any technical skill at all, so that makes it tough. But the good thing about business is that the technical skills, I think, is just about maybe 5% of what you need to succeed. So the technical skill, if you don't have it, some people have the technical skill, they have made the product, they have made the service. What is it that you can do to get access to that service and build the product and build the business around it? or how do you get the access to that product and build a business around it. So if you don't have the technical skill, depending on the business that you are entering, some people are ready to produce and looking for marketers, so your technical skill may not necessarily be the fact that you have to have that to create a product or service. It may just be the sales. Selling is also a skill. And so for most people, we don't have the technical skill. You're young, you have never worked anywhere, we just finished school, you're looking for a place to work, you're not getting, and then the idea comes up that what can I do with my time? Can I start a business or something? Depending on the kind of business that you want to start and how much technical knowledge that you need. But I think that if you don't have any technical knowledge at all and you are not getting anywhere to go and acquire that knowledge, then you may look at that what somebody else has produced, and then you are looking at how you can market that, and having developed the market for it, then later maybe you can look at how you will produce that service yourself or that product yourself. So the technical knowledge is one of it, the technical skill is one of it. The second one I said is the managerial or the leadership skill that you need to manage the resources, your time yourself, your time, the money, the things that you are selling or you're producing. It's a skill that you will need. So you develop that and you perfect that. The next one will be the entrepreneurial skill itself, and I think this is just about 80% of it. Your ability to set the vision, your ability to think in terms of profitability and see the how workable the business is, the product is. Who can you drag yourself to go and convince? Are you able to withstand the opposing forces that come along? The disagreement from your family, from your friends, from the society. Are you able to constantly talk yourself into following this business, even though sometimes you may feel like giving up? That is what I call the entrepreneurial skill. Your ability to set a strategy, to set a plan, and to understand the journey that you are going to embark on to establish a business. I think that is the most important among the three. It's the most important, because without it, all the other ones will not work. And so if you're able to understand this, then you can get to, okay, what kind of name can I give to my business? You are deciding, you have probably decided on the product, on the service, and then you go to the extent of, okay, what kind of name that I can give to my business? Maybe AK Ventures, AK Company Limited, or maybe whatever, Red Industries, whatever that name that you think is suit you. Somebody name his company okay, let me stay. So the name that you come up with the company, is it a tree name? Is it an English name that you want to use? How do you think through the name? It's also important. And then you have to decide whether you are going to register it as a sole proprietorship kind of company, or you are going to go for limited liability. Sole proprietorship is only an extension of yourself. They treat it as an individual. So if you go to the tax people, for instance, there's a lot of things that you are not required to do unless it's a company. So you go to the registrar general, you can ask a lot of the questions as to what your instrument should do. I think that you can register the business. I think that you can also start with the business, work for a while before you register. Either way, nobody will kill you, nobody will fight you. But once you register it, it becomes a legal entity, and there's a lot that they will push on you to abide by. So for instance, if you go for limited liability, you automatically will need one person. At least they require about 2 directors to sign the document. So sometimes you can, once you are thinking through this, go to the places that they do this, go and ask questions, or find somebody who has done it, ask them the questions, ask them the procedures that they went through to register it. They have a lot of them there, but I think the most important things are just about 2, depending on your level, just about whether you're going solely, which is the sole proprietorship, or you're going with a limited liability company, which you are required to prepare financial statements every year and things like that, directors, and depending on what the most important thing is when you start, some of these things will become a bit as you go through, you understand which instruments. But the basic one is that if you go for sole proprietorship, it means that it's really you. So if there's any damage anywhere, it's you. The company, maybe they have some a bit advantage, a bit more advantage than the other. But either way, you can use any of them to open bank account, so that when you start trading, at least you can track your inflows. And you should be thinking of some bit of website. Think of your name, think of how you're going to now there's WhatsApp, there's social, there's Facebook. There are things that you can create. People are very good nowadays with branding, with marketing. Just do a little face of your business, get a logo, work on your website. And if you do the website, you have money to do it, make sure that you let them create an email for you, and use your email. Create proper email. Nobody knows the size of your business. You only know the size of your business. If you have a website and even your office is in the house, that's a business. Nobody knows. The law does not require you to go and build a big office before you start a business. They just have to have an address. And so it can be your room, it can be anything. Once you have your laptop, you have your cell phone, you have a big business. It's the money. And so if you can make the money, and make a better service for people to enjoy what you do, you have a business. So your website, your social media presence, WhatsApp, you can tell people what you do. And you see, the thing about it is that everything that you start, somebody else is ready for that kind of service every time. Almost anything that you start, at just about the time, sometimes you're moving through town, you saw this restaurant. Before, maybe last 2 years or last year, it was not there. Then just this year, you saw the restaurant there. And you pass by to buy, to go and buy food there. Before they open the restaurant, you will never have entered to go to ask for food. So there's always somebody who is ready for the service that you're rendering. If you say that you want to sell rice, go to buy rice on wholesale and retail them. And you tell your friends, you tell people about it, there will be somebody, there will always be somebody who will call you to say, you told me at the other time that you sell rice. Do you still have it? Or you want to buy, what is it? Maybe cassava from the village and come and sell it in the city. Or wood from the village, you want to sell it in the city. Whatever that you think. Or maybe you want to sell phones or laptops, anything, books, chalk, whatever that you set out to sell to people, to produce for people. Once you let people know what you're doing, by all means, every now and then somebody else will call you, and that's how you get to pick the business. So just let people know that this is what you have started to do, and people will start to call you for the services. If it's a laundry service and you let people understand it, you just design something and put it on your page to say, and create a page for it to say that I am into laundry services. I am into selling of egg. I wholesale egg. I retail egg. I prepare Indomie in the evening. Whatever that you're doing is a business. Every idea that you're doing that is legal is a business, and every one of them can be potentially a big business. It's not so much the idea, but the one who is behind the idea and his or her way of thinking, their mindset, their skill, the understanding of business, the understanding of finance, the understanding of management. That is what will explode any idea. Vortic sells water. It's a big business. And then the other girl on the street is also selling water. It's the same product. The difference is the infrastructure, the thinking, the people behind the idea. So it really, to a certain percentage, it really does not matter the idea. It's really who is behind the idea and what they see and how they can package the idea. So it's more of you. What is it that you want to present? What is it that you want to push? What is it that you want people to know about what you're doing? You can pick it from any level and let people understand. So if you started if you just finish school and your parents are the ones going around asking all these people, Kosia has finished school, is looking for a job, she has been in the house for 3 years, 4 years, how does that make you feel? It makes you feel like you're a failure. That's the fact. But really, it's just a thinking problem that you have, because you can start something. You can start something on your own. You can start a business. You may not. You see, the thing is that people have not been conditioned to respect anything that they start with little. But you can start anything and make life or living out of it if you respect the little that you start with. So it's not so much that the situation is frustrating. It's because you still think wrongly about how you can start from where you are. How you can start from where you are. So when I started, the network was not good. I think now it's a bit stable. My name is Kwabena. I am discussing with you some of the steps that you can use to start your business. And the first, what I'm saying is that at every point in time, people start to think about business, whether they are in quote they are gainfully employed or they are not, whether they are young or old. At every point in time, people start to think about business. And I think it's innate in human beings to control their time, to control their resources, to express their talent. And this world revolves a lot around money, and economics or commerce. So there's nothing wrong if you think that you can start something on your own. Yes, as people are very proud to go around to give their CVs and look for jobs, you should not be ashamed to sit down to say that I want to start something. Some of the courses that people do, if you did sociology and you did psychology, those kind of courses, sometimes it's difficult for you to think in terms of business because it's a vague course. It's more of a consultancy or government kind of preparation that they give you. But whatever level that you are, you can still think, because until the economy is really organized, until the continent goes through the industrial revolution, so to say, the jobs are going to be still a major headache for government and for parents and for people. Because until companies are created to pick the beginners, so to say, or until a lot of companies are created, the jobs are still going to be a bit limited in number. And so this is the reality in Africa. We're still producing a lot of young people, which is a good idea. I think that it's better to go to school than not to go to school, at least to read, to write, to have some understanding, to have an inspired mind. But until that, people have got to learn how to create their own livelihood, and part of it could be starting their own business. So there's nothing wrong even if you're employed and you're thinking of starting your own business. It's a good thing. It's not a bad thing at all, and you just have to be proud of it. And I say that there are 3 major things that you will need or you would have to look at when you want to start your business. And I think that one of it is technical expertise, technical skill. If it's a construction business, you need some technical skill in that. How do they build the product, which is the building? If you don't understand it, how do you get somebody who understands it to work with it? But it's always the best if you start a business in what you understand. So if you don't understand it, then maybe you may have to take time to go and learn it, or you may just have to start with the sales, with the trading, because selling something you can easily understand. For instance, if you want to sell air conditions, it's different from you setting up a company to produce air conditions to sell. If you want to just sell air conditions, you just go to the people who are wholesaling air conditions, you go and buy, and then you go and look for the market. You're not worried about whatever plant that is set up to produce air conditions. So there is one thing about the technical knowledge that is just for the selling of it, because they can easily teach you how a condition operates if you are the salesperson, and it will not take time for you to understand it, but it will take you a long time for you to look at setting up a plant to produce air conditioning. That is not a joke. That is a difficult situation. So looking at just producing, having the technical understanding to produce it. Let's say you want to you want to produce laptops. That's a higher level, especially when you don't have any exposure, any understanding at all. But you can easily say that I want to sell laptops, and that is a different thing. You just go to people who are selling the laptops, say I want to buy it on wholesale, and then I want to go and develop a market and sell it. For me, if to a lot of people who don't have any technical expertise in anything, and largely the economy, the technical expertise in terms of producing anything is still is limited, because we virtually don't produce a lot of things that demand a lot of thinking. So we are not producing engines, or we are not producing cars. We are a lot of the things that we are producing are maybe like the food, drinks that we are trying to produce, what we produce. A lot of these food, Tom Brown, stuff like that. People are trying to produce African bags and jewelry. Those are the things that we're producing, and that is the level of the technology that is prevalent now. So if those things you easily want to learn them, then you just go and learn them. Beets producing, bag producing, fruit producing, yogurt. Those are the things that people produce. But people are not producing, shirts from the factory, right from the factory, where you are turning the cotton into shirt, or they are producing rare shoes, they are producing cars, engines, they are producing maybe watches. We are not on that level of production. And so you don't have to worry that much about how much technical understanding you have. What you can do is that you can easily get a product which is being produced or which somebody else has imported, and then you start to build something around that. Or if it's a service that you think that you can do, you look at any service that people are rendering. Is it branding that you can do for people? A lot of people are doing photography now. People are building a website for people. Any kind of business that you think your skill can at least get you in, and then you can use that as training. You can use that as training. If you pitch your business, if you start from a business that has a lot of technical implications and you have no exposure, it will be very difficult for you to do, for you to stabilize and build yourself in that. It will be very much difficult for you. So you would want to start a business that you have at least some bit of understanding. And if a lot of us don't have any understanding anyway, and that's why I propose that you just have to look at what you can sell, or maybe the farming, or maybe producing of things that don't demand so much technicalities, because you're not going to produce cell phone to sell if you don't have a lot of technical understanding in that. Who even give you the money to go? So maybe you just go to China and produce the phone, bring it here. It's complex. You may want to just go to the market, buy the phone, sell it, understand the phone for a while before you would want to go to a manufacturer to even brand a product and bring it to the market. So start from where you are. It's not so strange. Every one of us has something that we can easily trade with. We have some bit of gift, something. Some people are producing say fried rice. That's a good product. If you can build a business around the rice, you don't need a lot of intelligence to produce fried rice, and that can teach you the business terrain. With time, you may want to own a restaurant, big one, but you would have started small, and you would have known the terrain and how to manage the people, where to source all the things that they use to prepare the food, But you would not want to go and look for 100,000, and you have never done any business and said, I want to set up a restaurant, and you have never produced any food yourself before. That would be dangerous. You don't need that big money to start a business. You just need 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. Sometimes you don't even need anything at all. Just look at what somebody needs and where you can source that, give it to them. Because if they give you the big money to start, you will lose that money. You will lose it. You will lose it quick. If they give you 200,000 to start a business and you have never done anything at all, the chances that you lose that money is about 90%. So if you're waiting for money to start a business, then you don't understand what you're doing. You can get the money to expand an idea that you have tested, which is working. Maybe you started preparing, say, Indomie in the night for people, at one joint, and maybe every night you're able to sell 100 Ghana, 200 Ghana. So over the last 6 months, every month you are selling maybe 5,000, 10,000. Now you understand your numbers, and you can say that, okay, maybe my profit is maybe 10%, 20%. So I've been able to save 5,000 out of the 6 months. I've traded maybe 50,000 and my profit is 5,000 or 10,000. Now you understand some basic things. Now you would want to open another joint. And maybe you need a bit of extra capital. That is understandable because you know the terrain, you know where to go and get the product. You can trust the girl who you put there to prepare the food for you. You can trust the other guy that you send. You know where people will cheat you, where people will not cheat you. You will know where your losses will come and where your losses will not come. You know the time that people usually come to buy that food and the time that they don't come to buy. So that you would have learned how the model works. And you would have even learned your temperament and how you think you can manage people or how you think you cannot manage people before you go for any big money at all. So the idea that you need a lot of money to start a business, for me, it's not necessarily so. I think that you need an idea and you need a way to prove that idea with you as a person. The fact that somebody has proven that idea does not mean that you can prove that idea, because that person is that person and you are. So whatever that, if you have seen somebody do anything, it does not mean that you can do it. If you have seen somebody producing, say, yogurt, and they are selling, they are making profit. They have gone through some things as individuals. They have learned a lot. That's why they are successful. Now, you don't just sit down back somewhere and say that, oh, if this guy can do it, I can do it. That could be an encouraging factor, but you are still going to go through the levels to understand which works and which does not work, which fits you and which does not fit you. I don't think that everybody can do every business. I think that your inclination, your way of looking at life, some business will be more appropriate for you than some other business, and that it's a fact. Some people cannot be. You can code, for instance. You can produce an app. You don't even like computers at all, but maybe you like building. Maybe you like farming. Maybe you like games. Maybe you like football. Something that which you like is where I think that you should learn how to build business there. And when you're successful and you have a lot of money, maybe you can go and waste some of the money in things that you don't like. But when you're thinking of starting something, don't just go anywhere and think that because your friend succeeded, you will succeed. Not necessarily so. And so the technical knowledge is very important. And then the next one, I said, there are 3 things I think you should look at. The technical knowledge. The technical knowledge has to do with the kind of business that you're starting, the product that you're looking at, the services that you're looking at. Do you really understand it? And if you don't understand it, you don't have to be the one to produce it. You can just be the one to build the marketing around it, the sales around it. At least learn to know how that product is sold for a while, and then you can look at producing it. So let's say some people say they want to go into real estate. Can you sell a house? Do you know how a house is produced? Can you manage a contractor? Do you have the finances to go into real estate? I would say that if your interest is in real estate, you don't have that, because that area calls for a lot of technicalities, a lot of money, and you can lose the money in a minute, and it would not be 1 cedi loss, it will not be 1,000 cedi loss, it will be big loss. Sometimes you could find it very difficult to get back up. So if your interest is in, say, real estate, maybe you should be looking at how do you sell blocks, how do you sell maybe cement, how do you sell maybe iron, something like that, and then get to the people who are in it and start to learn it. And maybe 2 years down the line, you'll be able to understand the terrain. Then you can go in with with your real estate or whatever that you want. Now, for instance, if you're interested in maize maize selling, or you want to produce maize from a farm, I would say that also look at, can you go and buy the maize from the farmer? Come and look for the market in Accra sell it, develop a market for it, and then when you go into farming, you know that you are not going to produce it and keep it and wait for somebody else to come and buy, you know. So if you are looking at it as a business, look at it from the point of from the point of having the product sold. Do you have the expertise to build the product, to sell it? And that is part of the technical expertise of any area that you think you are looking at. And so everybody can build a business around something, and you can start from where it is being sold, where it comes in contact with the customer first before you go into the back of the chain where it is produced. Some people just look at the production. I don't think that's the best way to start a business. I think the best way to start a business is looking at the customer side, the selling side. And when you have mastered it, then when you produce it, you can easily understand. Some people bake a whole big network on the sales, and they even use people's product. They build the sales, then later they look at how they can produce the product at good margins, but they would have an existing market. That is the way that I think you look at building anything. And if from the sales point, then you can always get somebody who has produced it, you know, and negotiate. And that's why usually they don't need a lot of money to start anything, especially if it's your first kind of business. You know, if it's your first kind of business, you don't need a lot of money. You just have to go and work hard, you know, and talk a lot. And sometimes you may not need to even go and borrow somebody's money. If it's a business that you're going to borrow, and from the first stage, it's dangerous. You don't need that. Just look at how can you just credit the product alone, not going to get money to go and produce the product and then go and look for the market. Is dangerous. If that's your first time, you will not succeed. Especially when you have never worked in that environment, you go through. And that's why they say businesses fail. Businesses fail because of the approach, because of the people who are involved, because of the guy who started the business, the lady who started the business, where they pitched the business, what did they understand about what they were doing. Those are the things that destroy, that fail business that quickly. So look at the money side, because if the money is not coming, the business will not even pick in the first place. And the next one, you look at the managerial, the leadership skill. How are you going to manage the resources, the people, the money, the network? It's a skill that you need, you know. So if you don't develop that, it will be very difficult for you to have the business rule, you know, because it's about managing something, managing yourself, your time, managing your mind, managing your emotions. You know, those things, they come up. So if your managerial skill is very weak, you may have to work on it, improve it, and maybe you cannot finish improving it until you start. So when you start, you'll see that this is one of the skills that you also need as well. But at least you may be able to manage yourself and manage your little resources that you have to start the business with, you know. So the next one will be the entrepreneurial skill, the vision that you set for the business. Yes, you just started it. They don't even believe in it. You are the only one who says who's saying that you want to start a business. They have all pushed for you. They have all made you write CV everywhere. Nobody is calling you. They have talked about you everywhere. They are saying that you finished school, he doesn't have a job. And it's so fascinating how people are quick to tell you that they have a son who just finished school and has no job. People are quick to tell you they have a brother who they put to university, went to Legon, and he has no job. And some of them, he even has his MBA and he has no job. People are, I don't know whether it's a fun for them or what, I don't know. But people are quick to tell you who is a friend who has no job or a family member who has no job. You know, so you want to start, and these are people who have, in a way, gone ahead to be looking for help for you. And now all of a sudden you say that, I want to start a business. They will laugh at you. They will doubt you. They will encourage you, say, let's still look for a job for you. Because business, they walk to school out there with the business here. Then. You know, it's business is for those who didn't go to school. How are you able to handle that situation? It will call for entrepreneurship mindset, entrepreneurship skill. You should be able to think in terms of numbers. You should be able to handle your emotions, understand the journey that you're embarking on. And you should be able to pitch your vision very high. And you should be able to assume confidence and tell them, even though you started the business 2 weeks ago, you tell them why you have started this, and you continue to read and study and get information on the journey that you are embarking on. Because those people can talk you out of your vision quick, because they don't know what you are embarking on, and you may not even know what you're embarking on in the first place, and they may laugh at you. You may still be staying in your mother's house, your father's house. You may not even have anybody at all. You still may be perching with your friend, and you say that you want to start a cocoa drink business. They will laugh at you. They will laugh at you. But can you handle that position? Can you handle the small beginnings? Can you handle when the idea looks like nothing? Can you be the one who can see the end? Because if you don't have that, you don't have that entrepreneurial spirit. Because they will laugh at you. That I can guarantee you. And if they compare you with your mates who are in some places, they say, look at this guy who started somewhere now. He has a house, he has a car, and you finish school 3 years now, you're still in the house, and you, instead of you going to look for another, but you have looked for it, you are not getting it. And now that you want to build something, the same people will try to talk you out of that vision. I see, everything starts small. You, if you have the entrepreneurship spirit, mindset, skill, you'll be able to convince yourself, not maybe convince the people. You don't need to convince the doubters. You only need to convince the guy who will give you business. Don't waste your time convincing them to buy into how your idea will work. They will never. Even if when you're succeeding, they will still doubt it. So your energy should not be for you to convince the one who does not believe in you, who does not believe in your idea. Your energy should be in getting the next contract, is in getting the next sale, in getting the next lead, is in getting the next connection. That's where you should stress your energy. Don't waste your time convincing the others who can see. Don't waste your time convincing the one who cannot see the essence of what you're doing. You only need to convince yourself that this journey is worth taking, and that I want to build this, and it has the potential to become anything. So that spirit is what I call the entrepreneurship skill. And I think that among the three, this one carries about 80 to 90% of all that you need. Because the technical knowledge you can have, a lot of people have technical understanding, a lot of people can build a lot of things, but they have no business. And some people are very good managers, but they have no business. But the one with an entrepreneurial skill, the one who can see the numbers and see the figures and see the vision and stand the process, the pressure, take the mistakes, take the failure, get back on track. That one is the one who succeeds. So it's not just about the technical skill. It doesn't mean anything. You can know how to cook and still not own a business. It doesn't matter. You would rather want to be employed. So the fact that you can build a house does not mean you can build a business and run anything. So the three skills that you will need will be the technical understanding, will be the leadership or the managerial understanding, and then the entrepreneurial understanding. And that one, for me, carries the weight more than any other thing, because the doubt from the environment. You see, you have tried looking for a job, they are not giving you. Your father comes to the room, he talks to you. That is even if you have a father. How about if you don't have anybody at all? And usually the people who don't get jobs early after school are people who really needed the job. Those who could have families take care of them, they are the ones with the connections. And so the attention really is for people who just had to struggle all through school to come out, and then when they finish school, now they have no network to even get a place to work. Now such a person, how does he lift himself up? And because he's coming from, or she's coming from an environment where people are a bit more doubtful, a lot of them are very doubtful. That's why they don't have any network anyway. You would have to have that resilient spirit, that can-do spirit, that vision. You virtually have to live in your vision, to lift yourself to say that this this plantain business that I've started will become something. You virtually have to live in that. And don't look at the people who will just be doubting you and ridiculing you and saying that you have this is what you want to do with your life. Everyone has that kind of thing around them. Everyone, especially people who have no support network. And so don't your attention, your energy should not be at those people. Your energy rather should be, who is it that can connect me to the next vision, to the next sale, to the next contract, to the next deal? Who is it? And you, because nobody knows you, that's why you need that strength. And so for me, it's not the technical skill. Some people can have it. You can leverage it on that. The managerial skill, you may need it, but it's really not what you need for the lifting. The one that you need for the lifting is that strength to go against the doubt that you have for yourself and keep pushing. And sometimes you even have nothing, no food, nothing, and your attention is not on the lack of food, and you are not the one sitting down to complain and weep and feel victimized in life. No, that entrepreneurial spirit will bring you the light out of you, you know, and that is what causes people to be able to build any business. And so if you can't develop that and you can't find a job, then it's a tough one. It's a tough one. But that is a skill that you need, the emotional strength. Can you think in terms of dynamic? Can you see the vision? Can you may start something, any idea can become something that can even pay you more than the job that you're looking for, if nothing at all. Because let's face it, maybe they are paying you 1,000 or 2,000 a month. So the whole year is maybe around 12,000 to 20,000. If you have that exuberance and you can sell on the street 1,000, you have the same 1,000 per month. But the advantage you have is that selling that you are building can become a business, and it can explode, and nobody can cap it. Nobody can know the possibility of where your idea can lead to. You know, so if you are looking at the numbers, well, Africa is still yet to go through the so-called industrial revolution, which means the jobs that they are talking, the government cannot create any job anyway. Forget. They can't. They will just job. A lot of them were actually waiting to be employed by the government. So you think that they're going to create jobs for you? I doubt. They may create something, but they cannot absorb the numbers. You know, and the so-called business people are still struggling to increase their intake. And so a lot of us would have to just be on our own. And so just as they have trained you to write nice CVs and go for very fantastic interview and hope that they will call you, you might as well be looking at what can I learn about doing something for myself. Doing something for myself. Because the reality is that a lot of people would have to just do something for themselves. You know, and parents will just tell you, can you help me, my son, to get a job? Can you help my daughter to get a job? You may have to tell some of them that you may have to encourage your son to start to sell something, to start to do something for themselves. And there's no shame in you trying to do something for yourself. Because even that business that you're looking for, that you're so much happy, MTN was started by somebody. The bank that you so work there and you're very happy and you want your daughter to go there, that thing was also started by somebody else. So maybe, who knows, maybe the next 20 years, the next major business would be started by your son, or would have been started by your son or by your daughter. So for me, the resolve that is also is not shameful for you to go and start from wherever that you are, whatever that you can do to make revenue. If you go around town, you see the women who are selling cocoa and Cartier, you know, and Omomotoni and Bro, those kind of things. It's because they have no option. That's the thing. So they do it without any shame. They have to, and they are taking care of their children with that. Now, you think that you have gone to school, that one is beyond you. And that's the problem with the ones who have gone to school. They think that something is below them, and yet nothing is below you. Nothing. If it has to be something that is legal and you can do and build a model around it, because that cocoa can be a business model, you have no idea. If you have 20 women selling that cocoa for you, and every one of them can make 50 cedis a day revenue. Do you know how much is it? Anything can, so far as the country allows it, can be a business. People are selling chinchinga. I heard of a guy who has about 5 or 10 of those outlets selling chinchinga, and all that he does is that in the evening he goes around to pick his sales. You think that's not a business? He's way above a lot of his colleagues. You know, so think through whatever that you can do. It's not so much the idea, it's the structure that you can break the old tradition to see. The structure that you can break the old tradition to see. So for me, I think the number one need of people from developing economies, especially Africa, is knowledge. It's not food, it's not water, it's not money, it's knowledge. And when you say knowledge, it's the knowledge against the traditional way of looking at life and looking at issues. That knowledge to lift ourselves beyond the reality is there, yet we're still defending the tradition. You know, so until we can get people to think on their own and have flexible way of looking at issues and be proud. There's no shame in you starting anywhere that you can start, any business that you can start. You have tried for 5 years, it's not working, you're still trying. No. Start something. That is a fact. And the thing is that you may be shocked where that which you start will end to, will take you to. Nobody. And so far as you have the spirit to keep learning, you have the spirit to ask questions, you have the spirit not to give up, you have the spirit to be proud of what you're doing. And if you meet people, you are not ashamed of the fact that you have started a business, and even if it's not as you wanted it to work, you are doing something meaningful and you're developing your skill. You have no idea the 1 year, the 2 years, the 3 years where that idea will end you. You know, and the other thing is that now almost every Ghanaian I want to go to school. I want to go to school again. You interview people, they come for interview, they're looking for a job. And what is your next? I want to go to do my master's. I want to go and do this the next 3 years. It's all about school. Anyway, do something, prove something with the school that you have gone, than just going for certificate after certificate after certificate after certificate, and the economy is still struggling, and we are just producing people with certificate who have with 10 certificates who have never done anything with the first one. And that is a traditional way of looking at life, you know. So we still believe in a lot of things which don't work. And part of it is when you want to start something and they are talking you out, because they are saying that go and look for a very decent, nice job. And you would have gone if you had it anyway, but where is it? And so you also look at the name that you will give to your business. Look at that. Think through it. Just play with it, even if you don't register it. And if you have a laptop, or if you can go to the commercial center, just go and write 1 or 2 documents on 1 or 2 papers on your idea. This is the name of my business. This is what I want to do. I am the managing director of the business. Then just play with some website name that your business can have. Create a social media platform for it. Maybe WhatsApp, maybe Facebook, those things. Get yourself attuned. Go to the Registrar General. If you have never been there, go there, ask them the questions. How do I register my business? Are you going to register it as a sole, proprietorship, or as a limited liability company? Just go and ask questions. The fact that you just go there to ask questions, ask them anything. And don't be afraid. They will not ask you for any money. They just ask questions. And ask people who can help you to build a website. Ask them, how do I build a website for my business? Ask them, where do I sell my product? Where I want to sell water. Where do I go to sources? I want to sell bottled water. Who do I go? Do I go to Vortic? Do I go to ice, special ice? Where do you go? The moment you start to think of a particular thing, you see that first thinking starts to bring in a lot of other thinkings. And by the time you see one man down the line, you have a whole wealth of information that you can start your business with. And you will not have had that kind of information if you did not, first of all, think of me starting a business. What can I do with my time? What can I do? I've tried everywhere, it's not working. What can I do? Do I want to just start maybe farming? Whatever that you want to do. And never feel that because you have gone to some kind of school, you are ahead of that. That's a major trouble in the way people think. I'm a lawyer, so I can't do this. I'm a doctor, I can't do this. Okay, so who should do it for you? It's you. So my name is Kwabena. I'm sharing with you some thoughts on how you can start your business. And the reality is that a lot of us would have to think along this line. Along this line. Many people may not just have the chance to work readily when they needed to work. Sometimes even if you needed to just get into an organization to work for free, and most of the people don't even have the framework to even go to any company to say that I don't have anything to do, I want to be here to work. The pride is very high, the ignorance is very high, and yet they want their life to be meaningful. And so it's your call. You have been in the house, or you have endured that kind of job that you don't like, and you are always talking, I want to start a business, then start a business. And if you have never thought of it, then think of it. So it's a good thought to say that I'm thinking of starting a business, and start it. And never be ashamed of it, or no matter what business that you have. So far as it's legal, it's not going to kill people, that is worth it. And until the economy gets organized, this problem, when we were children, they were talking of graduate unemployment. Now we are not children, they are still talking of it. It's not going to change until the base of the economy changes. Until the economy is organized and stabilized, unemployment is going to stay for a long time. And so you may as well think of helping your own body. You help yourself. So Africa is yet to go through the so-called industrial. I think that the thing that brought this employment and job is when they started to create a lot of industries. But we have not created a lot of industries. So I don't know why we still thinking of job. From where? So you're producing the graduates. Just tell them that, listen, we are yet to go through that job on a large scale. So you just have to finish school, and maybe 5 to 10% will be lucky to have a place to work. The rest, you may have to find your way out. And so you would have to embrace that idea that I can also do something on my own, and do it, and maybe become an expert at that, and maybe have a company built in my lifetime. And I say that if you think like that, and if you want to strategize like that, you need 3 things. One is the technical expertise. The other one is the managerial, or what you call the leadership expertise or skill. And the next one will be the entrepreneurial skills that you need. You need the 3 of these. The technical expertise, I say, is because every business offers some kind of technical service or product. You don't have to be the one who produces it, because production calls for a high level of technical know-how. Production of anything, and it is capital intensive, a lot of them. If it's a total production. If it's an intermediary production, maybe you just go and fix something, that's different. But a lot of people don't have that kind of technical understanding to produce a laptop, to produce a phone, to produce a car. Those are big technical expertise that you may not have. But you can sell a car tie. You can develop a market to say that I want to sell bolt and nut. That is just a product somebody has brought, and you want to develop a market around it. That is the way that a lot of us will learn the business process. And after you have done that, you will know what it takes to build a business around any idea. So don't worry so much about you trying to produce something when you just start. Just try to sell something. And when you have sold it for one, you have understood it, you'll be able to build maybe. So that for me, for most people, the only technical understanding they have is the selling one. The seller one. So if you're able to good, and which most people can do. So you don't need a lot of so-called money to start the idea and to test it if it works. You don't need so much money to test the idea. You just need some vim and just closeness and some bit of craziness to say that, yes, this is what I want to do with my life. If it doesn't work, I have tried. because we're not doing anything with your life in the first place. And so now that you have found something that you're doing, then you see all the demons will come to convince you to stop. And that one takes you how you can also manage your resources and your time. How you manage. The first one is the technical understanding, and I think that for most people, the only technical thing you need is how to sell something, how to produce something. Maybe when you have mastered the selling, you can look at the production. And if you look around, what are people producing? Just basic things that you don't need a lot of engineering or a lot of technology to produce. So the economy is not there. We are not the ones producing the cell phones, the cars. No, we are not the ones producing a lot of the planes and all those, the gadgets. No, we are not the ones doing that. Very few people are doing that. So don't bother so much about the technical expertise, because you should have had it, and you will have it if you work in a factory that was producing that. So there's one thing having the technical expertise to produce that, and there's another thing to sell it. So if you don't have that expertise to produce it, at least you may develop that skill to pick the product, to go to one shop, from one office to another, to say that this is what I'm selling. And that one may not call for a lot of technology to say, So the next one is the managerial. Manage your resources, manage your time. How are you going to handle the money? If you don't understand it, learn it. How are you going to lead yourself? How are you going to manage your time? Now that you have started this business, you can't just go and play with the guys anymore. You want it to succeed. So how are you managing your time? If you used to watch a lot of TV, now you may have to cut down the TV. If you didn't like reading books, now you may have to, How are you going to keep records of the money that comes in and the money that goes out? You may have to have a book to write that I spent 1 cedi on trotro today, I spent 2 cedi on trotro today, then bought 3 of the items they didn't buy, those things. So you're going to manage. You are managing the information, the data of what you're doing. You're managing what your mind processes. You're managing anything that is connected to what you're doing. That, if you fail at it, you may struggle. And then the major one that I think is the entrepreneurial skill. How you're able to keep your emotions, your vision, how you're able to add the numbers to make sure that they work. How you're able to link it to where the country is going, the economy, and how you're able to handle the painful moments, the things that didn't work, the things that you're not proud of. Those things will also come up, and how you understand the journey, because there are stages. And those things you would have to push yourself to learn them, And then I talked about the fact that beyond this, you may have to think about your business, how you get it registered, the name. Go to the institution that does that, the registrar general. Go to their website, look at what they require, place a call, go to them. You may register it as a sole proprietorship kind of business, or you may go for limited liability. It's up to you. But go and ask them questions. Ask them questions. And the world has changed. Think of a website after a while. Think of a social media platform. Think of getting the product, sending it, broadcasting it to your friends to say that I'm selling this. Can you help me with somebody who needs it? You never know who will connect you to what. And then the next minute you see that the idea that you thought of in your room and you are not sure, now that idea starts to get life. That idea starts to make profit for you. That idea starts to become a business. And so thank you very much for watching. Again, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for taking your time to just look at what I've tried to share with you. So if you fall into that category, and most people actually, one way or the other, think of owning their business. My life is too short, so it's not just thinking about it. It's a lot of the time it's just getting up to say I want to register it and I want to start to do something with it. But you have nothing to lose. If you have nothing to do, what else can you do? You have nothing to do. You lost a job, you're in the house. What else? You don't have anything to lose. Just try something. Stop talking about it and try something. If you have the gift to produce something, then you even have better advantage. Some people can easily develop a website. Some people can produce soap. Some people can produce clothes, shirts. Some people can produce medicine. Some people have better chance of starting a business than some others. But why don't they start? Because they do a lot of calculations and thinking and planning. You cannot be that intelligent to do that. No, if the idea clicks with you for 1, 2, 3. Don't put it on the shelf for 5 years. No, somebody else is also thinking about it. So do whatever you have to do. Do whatever you have to do. At least test the idea. Let 1 or 2, 3 or 4 people buy it, and by the time they buy it, you see that maybe the market wants it or the market will react. Then you have to go back and look at another thing. So it's not really perfecting the idea. Some people will just always want to perfect the idea. No. Don't perfect the idea. Whatever that you think you can sell, just push it to the market and see. If the market does not like it, you're not experienced anyway. But the market will feed you information. Sometimes you may be selling it too high, or sometimes you may be selling it too low, or sometimes you may be selling to the people who don't need it. But if you just put it on the document and just look at the business plan, that's me. I don't talk about those things. So, especially if it's your first one, business plan and financial analysis and market research, those things. Maybe you can talk about it when it's your second one, when you have done it for a while. But if you're the first one, you don't have a job, you're looking for a place to work, you're talking about business plan. You don't need a business plan. You just need sales. You just need somebody to buy the item from you. From there, develop the business plan. So there's no point going to look for a consultant to draft a business plan for you and give your money to him. Those are not needed. For me, you don't need that, especially if you're not expert, if you're not skilled. What you need is that who can buy this product and how do I get that product to him to make some profit on it. After you have done that for a while, you may look at business plans and those things. And even if you need a business plan, write the business plan yourself. And you don't need to go to the bank for that. Write it to yourself. Test it yourself. Right. The people who are wrapping people's business plan, the only business is the business plan they write. So that's why they tell you to write business plan, so that they can get job. It's not because the business plan is so much important. It's not important. You don't need that, especially if it's your first business. You don't need a lot of research, and some people will even give money to people to go and do market analysis, and those are for the big boys. Actually, those are for people who have money. You don't need that money to do that. You just need that money to go and buy that product and sell. And after a while, you will know what is working and what is not working. Then maybe you can then start to regiment and start to apportion and start to know what you think. Then you can call the consultants. If you have a lot of money, then you can call the financial consultant, the management consultant to come and help you. But when you are testing the idea, that is not where they have the expertise. That's why they are consultants. The expertise is not the modeling, but that is dirty. The modeling, the testing of your business idea is dirty. Nobody wants that. That's why very few people want to do business, because it will fail, to be painful, to be nasty. People will laugh at you. Nobody wants to do that. And that, if you can do that, then you are separate from the others. So modeling the idea is not where you want to become perfect. And just test the idea. You are producing these cufflinks. Go and test. Go and test it. Who will buy? And why would they buy it at the price that you are selling it? Sometimes we put product on the market and they react. Maybe it's more expensive, or maybe it's less expensive. Maybe they don't like even the design. And so if you go and borrow money to go and do a lot of things that you have not sold, you just create a problem. So that's why you don't need a lot of money to test the idea. You will need the money when the idea is working. Never forget that. When the idea is working, then maybe somebody can help you. And when you have understood the processes, then somebody can help you with money. But when the idea is not tested, don't go and put all your money in that. It may not work. And you don't need forget about market research. Do this research yourself by taking the product. Put the product in the shop. Let them come and say they will buy it or they won't buy it. Then you have a working model. So until you have crossed that, you don't have a business, you don't have an idea, you don't have what, so you meet people who are very much good with producing anything, and they keep the item for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, and they still meet people and they talk about it. You still have an idea about the product. It's not a business. It's just an idea about the product that you're very, very happy that you created that product. So maybe you are an inventor, you're a creator, so to say, but you have to move it to the next level. So some people can tell you all the recipe that they have about cooking which food is only tasty in your mouth. Nobody knows it. And who told you that the successful restaurants have the nicest food? No, they have the best business model, not the food. If they have the food, it's an advantage, but that's not it. It's the fact that they have built something around it. That's why they're successful. So think through some of the things that you can do to have your business started. And you don't have to be a perfect man. You just have to be robust and fight and keep fighting and go against a lot of conventional thinking and conventional interpretation of a lot of things. And so if you look at the numbers, it means that a lot of boys, a lot of girls would have to just look at what they can do for themselves. Because the reality is that the jobs that they say that they are creating, you are the one to create them. You are the one to create them, and you should be ready for every bit of the journey. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you for watching. Thank you.